to the end. One is a nice discount code, which you can use on any product that we have at the moment. And another is a little tip for a feature that is not advertised in Cascade at all anywhere, except for places like this. So if you hold on, I will then reveal a new tab in Cascade, which you can then have some extra features with and so on. So let's get started. And just as a way of an introduction, I did my ASC course with Gallup back in 2015, and I was working in a technical environment, lots of individual people there, but also lots of different agile teams. And it was great to see all the wonderful material that Gallup provide following the certification course. But boy, there is a lot of it, and it's difficult to manipulate it and personalize it for the individual people that I was coaching. And so I very quickly sort of knocked up something that was able to help produce reports quickly and easily. I have Maximizer in my top 5, and so that's where I just really wanted to make it more efficient. And then I was in London in the Gallup office with a lot of other coaches, and they were having a look to see what I was doing. And they said, Richard, you just got to get it out there. And so that's what I did, and things have progressed quite a lot since then. And now I'm a licensed partner with Gallup, and I've got a license agreement set up with them, so they're fully on board with what I'm doing, because obviously I'm using their intellectual property as part of my product, and so it needs that license agreement. And now we've got to a stage where over 1,200 coaches are using Cascade and benefiting from the reports, and that's covering 47 different countries. So thanks to you guys and all the different places where you're from, it's really been powerful to create quite a big Cascade community, and also opportunities to help you guys with your coaching work. So that's just a brief introduction to that. Let's dive in and have a look at Cascade. And I'm just going to share my screen here, so hopefully you can see something coming up on the screen at the moment. And just to sort of give you a very brief technical bit behind it, it does run on Excel, so you need to have Excel on your computer, either Windows or Mac. That's using Office 2016 or above on there. It doesn't look like Excel. I've deliberately made it so it's as simple and easy to use. There is certainly no formula you need to enter. It's just a matter of clicking on different buttons to get to the different pages and things. And so don't be frightened by the fact that it is Excel. It might be something new. If you're comfortable with Excel, then you should be very comfortable with this as well. So that will certainly help. There are 4 main things that Cascade really offers coaches on here. The first one is a central repository to keep all the information for all your clients. So all the different organizations you may work with, your friends and family, if you're working in an organization, perhaps the different departments, you can put everybody into one copy of Cascade. So you've got everything, all the themes for the people you work with in one place. The second area is you can get lots and lots of reports for teams, team grids, and that sort of thing, visual reports very quickly, very easily. There are also all these different personal reports or individual reports, which are for one person, and it's based on their themes as well. So it's very quick and easy to provide reports for individuals, either for a one-off coaching session or for a team workshop. And finally, what we've got throughout the whole of Cascade and on our website are lots of coaching tips on how you can make the most of the reports, how you can use them in different coaching scenarios, and how they can really help people. So those are the things which it really helps coaches, and it really gives a bit of structure and a bit of support to the work that you're doing with your clients. So let's dive in and start off with the theme table. The theme table on the left here is where you put all the themes for your clients. I know it's quite a busy page, this, but this is just the central sort of database area where everybody is stored. And so what we have in this green section is essentially people's names and then their themes going from 1 Goes up to 6 here at the moment, but in fact it goes off the screen all the way down to 34. So it does accommodate all 34 themes. Don't worry, you don't need to add all this information in manually. Remember, I've got Maximizer. I want to make it as easy, as simple as possible for you with this. And so there is a button at the top here. You simply click on that. And then if you've got an export file from Gallup Access, you can identify that file, and it will just pull all the information in to Cascade for you. So just as a reminder, within Access, within Gallup Access, in the community area, there is an export feature where you can export the themes of the people in your community. If you have the subscription model of Access, there is also an export feature where you can export people as part of a bundle or a team within that. We've got help and a step-by-step guide on our website if you need help with that particular part. So, but the essential idea is that you can export very easily from Gallup Access into Cascade. It works equally well with the Clifton Strengths for Students and their corporate portal. And so the import process here in Cascade can recognize lots of different formats. It's also very good for those of you who've already got Cascade. If you're upgrading from one version to another, in your new version of Cascade, simply click on the Import Themes button, find your previous version of Cascade, and it will just suck everything in from there. So that's getting the people into here. What we do have is on the left-hand side in these blue columns, these are really areas where you can use them for your own way, however you want to use them. And you can change the headings at the top here if you wanted to. You don't have to use these headings, use whatever headings you like. And this is how you're going to slice and dice the information, or how you're going to group people. So it may be by department, it may be by their organization they're in, it may be by location, it may be by whether they're a manager, member of staff, or on the executive board. However you want to group the people, you can certainly do that. If you're in education, it can be by cohort or any other means. Or if you are running a workshop, such as today, what I've got here is I've got some sample demo information in here, but also I've popped your names and your themes in from your registration, and we've got the session number on here as well. So that makes it very quick and very easy just to select people at a later stage. Let's move on to the team grid. And I don't know how you've created a team grid in the past, but as soon as you put people into Cascade, you've immediately got a team grid. There's no other work you need to do on here. And what you can also do, as I mentioned earlier, is you can select people by any of these columns. And so if we just want, say, us who are on this session today, we can then just tick the one we want, click on OK, and it just reduces our list, and it just shows the themes for our group here. And this could perhaps be for one of your workshops that you're about to run. And you can do other searching on here as well for specific names, or you can sort and other things like that. So just trying to keep this high level at the moment. We can go back to the menu, and we now have a whole range of reports that we can look at, which are based on the people who are in the team grid. So if we wanted to see a summary of the team, we can just go into here. Here is a summary for the team which we're looking at, which in fact is our group here. And you can see a few things on here. Firstly is the frequencies of the themes. So we can see which the most common themes are for our group. And then we've got this spark chart, which you'll only find in Cascade. And this is where all the themes go round the outside, and they are by the 4 different domain quadrants. And the longer the line, the more people in our group have that theme. So you can see here that relator is the highest theme, and you can see that's topping out at 13 of us have got the theme of relator in our top 5. What this report also does is that it shows the top 5 themes for the team. And so this is quite helpful. So if you're working on an individual basis, you can use the individual reports, but also you can see as a team, what is their top 5? And you can see as a team, what does a team bring? What does a team need? And how can the team in general be motivated? This obviously doesn't cover everybody in the team, but it covers the team in general with those people who've got the themes with of that top 5 shown there. So just going back to the menu again, there are lots and lots of individual reports. And if you've used the theme insight cards with the from your Gallup training, I find I often hand the cards out that people want to take a photograph of those, or they want to borrow them and pass them over to a photocopier or something like that, just so they can have a copy of the content. Here it is on one page. And so you've got somebody's top 5, you can quickly and easily select somebody from the list, and it will then show their top 5 themes. It will give the information from those theme insight cards, and it's all immediately on one page. This can be for top 5 themes, top 10, or top 15, so you can cover all of that. We also have within Cascade a bring and need report, and this is probably one of the most popular reports which people use. And this is where we have dived a little bit deeper into each of the themes. And with this, it's looking at what each theme can bring and what its contributions are of that theme. And it's not just a couple of lines, you've got sort of several lines and several different aspects of that theme. And if somebody wants to make you're trying to help somebody make a contribution to the team, this, or to something they're trying to do, this can really help them work out how they can make that contribution. And it gives more sort of dynamic ways of how that theme can really contribute in an environment. The next column is looking at what the theme needs. And this is how you feed the theme. This is how you keep the person energized. And if somebody, particularly at this time with COVID-19, where people are suffering from lockdown, and somebody's a little bit demotivated, have a look at their top 5 themes, look at the needs of their themes, and how can these be met on a practical basis? And how can they do some of these things that are helping to feed their themes? Because if you feed the themes here, you'll then get the results on this side. And this is gold dust for a manager to know about their staff. So if they know how to feed the themes of their staff, they can get the results coming out directly from that. So that's a very, very brief overview of Cascade here. And just to sort of round this off, all the reports can be printed. Literally just click on the print button, or you can save them as a PDF. You can either print these reports individually, or you can say you want to print the reports for the whole team. And if you select the whole team, it'll then print or create the PDFs for everybody who's in the team grid. So in this particular scenario, if I was to click on this print button here, it would print the personal insights report for each and every one of us who are in the team grid with that. So I'm just going to pause there for a moment just to see if there are any questions, or see if there are any things popping up in the chat. I don't know, Charlotte, if there's anything which is coming up at the moment.
There are no questions in the chat room yet. This morning it was like buzzing and I couldn't keep up with the chat. This afternoon we're more reserved. Has anybody got any questions they want to verbalise? Maybe, you know, shy, instead of typing them in, you might want to verbalise them. If not, Richard can, you know, carry on and show you the other nuggets that are there.
I see there's a question about name tents. We'll come on to name tents later on. Thank you for raising that. And if I don't mention it later, then do remind me with that. Okay, let's dive now more into an example where we're going to do a workshop with a team, and how we can actually do that, and what we can use within Cascade to really help us with that. And do feel free to add in your questions, add in your thoughts, and add in ways how you use the different reports so that we can all learn and share from each other with this. So if you're working with a team, or you're working on a workshop, what we can do is, first of all, work out how you can identify the team, whether you have the team name in here, or whether you put the workshop session number in, or something like that, just so you can identify the people who are in the team. Then when we move to the team grids, you can then go to that area, and then you can just select the people you want to have in the team, and I'm just going to select the demo ones at the moment, and you'll see that the people here will just change. So we've now got the demo sample data, which we had in here initially. Now, some of you may notice that the 4 domains which are shown on here are in a slightly different order to the way Gallup present them. Gallup start with executing on the left and then strategic thinking on the right. Now, the reason for them doing that is purely because that's alphabetical order, and there's no other reason. It's just having them in alphabetical order. I think there's a better way of doing this in terms of putting them in this order, because what this is doing is before you introduce the team grid, it's always worth introducing the 4 domains, what they are and how they work together, and then introduce the team grid. Otherwise, people are going to jump straight to the areas of the team grid where they don't have any strengths and then start questioning those areas, and then you'll get a whole load of different things happening. And so the reason why I've put them in this order is I'm just going to reveal a piece on here. You've got buttons on the side where you can change the layout and things. So I've just hit on the domain contributions. And the strategic thinking domain is all about the what. What has happened in the past, what is happening now, and what is best to happen in the future. And so it's looking at that question as in, what are we going to do? The influencing domains, the themes here, they take that what and they provide the why. They provide the momentum, they provide the enthusiasm and the energy to get moving in the path of the what, which the strategic thinking people have set out. The relationship building domain is all about the who. Who is going to be involved? Who is going to do each of the different tasks, and who is the best person for those tasks? And also keeping the team or the group close together. And the executing domain is all about the how. They know how something can be done perfectly and how something can be done most efficiently. And so that's sort of using these 4 domains in this order, we cover the what, the why, the who, and the how. And to me, that gives a lot more meaning to the domains. And then when you start to add the people's themes into the domains, you can then see which areas people are naturally best at. And then you can start to see the collaboration between the different people within the team as to how they're going to work with that. So I'm also very aware that Gallup have their materials with the themes, with the domains in the other order, with executing first. And so we've covered that. There's a button here on the left called Domain Order. Simply click on that, and what it will do, it will just swap over the 2 domains. So if you want your reports to emulate the Gallup reports, so that everything's all in the same order, that's very easy. You can do it either way with that. And so I'm just going to switch that back again on here. What you can also do, you can hide the domain contributions and you can put in the domain descriptions which Gallup provide. So again, you can choose which text you have on here. You can have, you don't have to have any text. You can have one or the other, or you can have both if you want to. So you've got a lot of flexibility within that. Just going around the team grid at the moment. Up at the top, you can then choose how many themes you want to display. At the moment, we've got top 5. You can say you want top 10. You can add in the bottom 5 if you want to. And you can do all these other options as well. So you can have all 34 as well. Depending how you want to show the information for your team or for your group, you can then choose which information and how many themes you want to show on here. You will notice also that all the numbers have been put in and they've been calculated for you. So there's no adding up and there's no working out, it just does it all. And it says how many themes and what percentages there are in each of the different domains. In this row here, you can see that some of the numbers are in green, and these numbers here are the ones which, the green ones are identifying the top 5 themes for this team. The blue ones just show a 1, and that is where there is an area of uniqueness. And so we can see, for example, for the theme of input, that only one person has the theme of input. And so that's perhaps a unique contribution that person can make to the team. On the right-hand side, we have the totals by each of the domains. And so this is quite handy sometimes to see if where somebody is generally coming from and which domain they're coming from. And what I didn't show earlier is that we can very easily sort by these columns. So what we can do is we can say sort from largest to smallest, and the people with strategic thinking are then placed near the top of the list on here. You can sort by domain on here. Alternatively, if you wanted to sort by theme, you can do this. So you can actually say you just want the people who've got the theme of harmony. And so again, you can literally use these filters to actually reduce down the people and make some selections or anything else you want to work out from there. So let's just open that one back up again with that. While we're here as well, obviously you can take out the logo, you can put in your own logo, put in your own branding. You can take out these columns if you don't want to show them on here. Literally just hide them, so you can tidy it up so it's nice and easy and clean for you to present to your clients on here. And there's a heading which you can put in, and this heading actually is set in the menu. And so in the menu here, you can see I've just done the lead learning series. I've typed it in there, and so any of the team reports, it will show that one heading for that. So that will come up in this report here. So let's just pause here for the moment for any questions, just to see if there's any of you who are using the team grid for your team workshops, and if there are any other aspects that you would draw into your team workshops with the team grid.
So I would add, Richard, to that. What I love doing is sharing the team grid that has the top 10 or the bottom 5, or if we're reviewing it and we've worked with them for a little while or done one-on-ones, being able to select what their dominant talents are. So for somebody it might be 1 to 12, somebody else it might be 1 to 9. So you can really personalize that team grid. And what I love is that when you then produce the summary report, and I share both bits of information, it's showing the same information but just in different ways. So I love that whatever you put into the team grid feeds into the summary report as well, and that ability to be able to sort of show, you know, top 10 dominant talents, top 15 bottom 5, and different variations of, and clients find it really powerful. Some that go, oh my god, the Excel spreadsheet and all these colors are just too confusing, but really love the summary sheet that gives them, you know, the same information but more in a pictorial way.
Yeah, thank you for that, Charlotte. And just to expand on that, if you select on here the top 10 themes, and then you move to the summary sheets, the summary sheet here will reflect the top 10 themes. And so it says right down at the bottom, representing the top 10 themes. So whatever you choose in the team grid is represented in the other team reports on here.
And I really love that. And I think, you know, when we perhaps only used, when I first became a coach, we maybe only had the opportunity or used only the top 5, and people would then go, oh my God, we're no good at influencing. And I'd often say, well, we don't know what's at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then to be able to now produce it showing, you know, top 10, or encouraging them to do the full 34, but, you know, showing beyond that top 5, then the whole getting fixated on what we don't have and the domains becomes a really different, more, you know, interesting conversation of, you know, how we might do these things as opposed to, you know, what we do. So that's powerful.
Yeah.
Can I add something?
Yes, do. Yes.
Sure. Okay. There's another great thing that you guys can do with this, is that this happens all the time. For example, like this exact one. Somebody says, I want to report for everyone. Now I want to report just for London, or just for Dallas, or just for Sydney. And it's really simple. If you could just quickly filter it, and just takes me like 2 seconds. So I think it's going to demo it now. So just show me all Dallas and London, for example. And just makes your life easy. So when somebody gives me, okay, I want to report with everyone, I want to report with just this group, easy.
Thank you. And there's It is very easy, and it just goes back to the information you put in on the theme table, you can then use in whichever way you want to use it. And as you say, Leah, quite rightly, if you just want to reduce it down, it's really quick, really easy.
Sorry, Richard. Can you add columns to this report, or will that mess it up?
There's a lot of formula behind this, probably about 10,000 areas of formula. So the answer to that in simple terms is no. In adding columns, you can of course show the different columns here, and you could potentially put extra information in there if you wanted to. So you would, in these two columns here, you would then go to the theme table, add the information into this area, and then when you go to the team grid, you will then see it here. So
yeah, because I find from my perspective when I'm dealing with clients, just like Leo mentioned, I usually enter in like their titles. So they want to separate their VPs from their managers to the supervisors. So that's fine. I can make it work. But
so what you could very easily do for that is where we've got these two columns here. They're called area and team. You can change those, and then in the theme table, literally just use these columns, put their titles in here. That's absolutely fine. And then when you show the team grid, you can then make sure this column is visible. And then if you need to change the width of this, you can easily adjust this.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So I had somebody a while back, they wanted to put in people's nicknames. They didn't want to use their real name. They wanted to use their nickname. I thought, how on earth are you going to do that? But that's what we did in the end. We used one of these columns for their nickname, and then we hid this column. And so they could just show their nickname, but that was just one of those things that particular client wanted to do. Okay, so that's the team grid, and there are lots and lots of different ways how you can use this. And with all these different display options that you've got here, all the different ways you can show it, it's something like 3,000 different ways or different permutations of the layout. So it's a very customizable and very flexible team grid. And so you can use it in lots and lots of different ways for that. Let's move on to the team summary. And I know I touched on it a little bit earlier on, but this is a really powerful report. And if you're pitching to an organization and you're an independent coach and you want to get some new business, giving an example of this report can be something that will really capture a potential client's imagination. And you could offer to say, I could show this report for the people in your team, and then you can see what it looks like. And I know coaches who've actually got business purely by showing some of these reports as examples, and that has given them the way in to get that coaching contract. So do feel free to use them in that situation. But then when you're working with a team, you can then have a look at their spark chart and so on. Is it an area where they've got a few themes and the lines are very, very long? Or have they got a lot of themes, they're spread across a wide range and the lines are quite short? What does that spark chart look like? And how does that reflect on the team itself? And this is looking at one team, and it may be that you've got several teams that report into one executive director or something like that. And you could actually do the same report for each of the different teams and show the comparisons of where they're different. And so on, just looking at the distribution of the themes. Another way you can use this report is look at the top 5 themes for the team and really help that team create a team identity. What is that team all about? What are the real strengths of that team? And what does that team bring? Help them look at their values of the team, what their purpose of the team, what the team is all about, and really help them to create that sense of who that team is. And so what the team can really bring. And on the other hand, what that team really needs. And to keep the people within the team energized, how that would work. There may be some people who within the team, none of these themes are actually in their own top 5. And they may feel a little bit left out of the team because they don't have the themes that the other people have. What you can do there is that you can say, well, actually, they've got something different. What is their unique contribution they can bring to the team? And by doing that, you're doing 2 things. Firstly, you're giving them permission to use that thing which they have different to the team. And the second thing is you're giving appreciation for the team to recognize that person and welcome them and include them in the team and value what they have to offer. So it can really help with team cohesion and bringing the team closer together. So I'm just going to pause again here for the moment to see if there are any other ways you have used this report in your own team coaching, and just to sort of see if there are any other things we can share with this.
Yeah. Hi, Richard. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes. Hi, YK.
Yeah, this is okay. Yeah. So one of the things, my top, one of my top 5 is restorative, more of a problem solving. So I work not mostly on the just on the general coaching, but I do a lot of business consulting. So I use the Gallup as well as, I mean, this 34 as well as the BP10. I also use BP10 in conjunction. So when I mostly work with business and entrepreneurs. So while, you know, it's slightly against to the philosophy of strengths, not fully, but I mean, kind of, while most of the times there is not a problem with their top 5 or this thing, most often the problems that I see is at the bottom, right? So like, for example, what is missing? Let's say they are missing altogether execution, right? I've dealt with like probably 100 different combinations till now. So I did see that you have like a bottom 5. Can you just, if you don't mind, can you go back to that place where you're showing the team grid? So if you just, let's say, yeah, let's say, just say bottom 5. Right?
So yeah, this is showing just the bottom 5, yes.
Correct. So now I see there are like numbers. Like now, if I go back to summary, does it show what is missing?
No, this will just go back to the top 5 on here. So the summary will only show the top themes. But you raise a very interesting point. There are a couple of things you can do. And that is by taking the themes here of the team, the top 5 for the team, you can then enter into the theme table. And what I've done this already for us, is this session here. These are the top 5 for us as a group, which I've got from the team summary. And so us as a group, this is, these are our top 5. And then you can use these into, say, the bring and need reports. Actually, that just needs to go back to the team grid and clear the filter there. So now we've got everybody. Go over to the bring and need, and then we will find right at the bottom on here. So this is a bring and need report for our group as a team and our top 5 of what we need and what we bring. So that's looking at the top 5. But you can conversely do that exactly the same with the bottom 5. So for example, this is for everybody, but you can see the bottom 5 themes down here. You could then create an entry in the theme table just for the bottom 5 themes, and then say, this is not what our team is about. And I know a coach who does that, and he finds that's quite sort of revealing to find out what the team is not.
Yeah. So just to make sure I understand. So what did you say? So I take the bottom 5.
So you can.
Okay.
So we've got the bottom 5 here. You can then go into the theme table and then create another entry in here and just call it team bottom 5. Put those themes in here, and then so if we just follow this through. We would have competition, consistency, restorative, context, and includer. And so we would then put those themes into this part here. And then when we look at that particular person, we can then see in their bring and need report from those themes what the team as a whole has at their bottom 5. I'm not sure if this is making sense. And so when it says I bring, you would then turn that around to say, as a team, we probably don't bring these things.
Oh, okay.
So it needs to flip it on the negative. It's quite a complicated process, and I don't know whether we're sort of heading
But
down.
that's fine. I will try to figure this out a little bit, because see, if you, I mean, just for everybody's benefit, I'm sharing. I don't know if you have your own comments. See, what happens is that while we can always say, okay, you have this strength, you can use that strength in parallel and all those things. In the reality, right? When we work with in the businesses, right? Especially what happens is like, one of my work is that I build the missing teams. Okay, right? So for example, I'll give you a very simple thing. So there is a particular business I'm dealing with. They don't have the strategic thinking. They're all bunch of very nice execution people. But right now, to turn around the business, we need that thing. So I can say you can work hard, you can respect. That's all are nice. But then reality is that you need to have. So what we do is that, because we work on the very shorter timelines to turn around the. Basically, I'm into the turnaround business. Right? We take business 90 days. You have to turn around. Okay. So the missing things is what, it's not that I focus on missing, right? If I find that the missing is what is creating the problem in the company, I need to identify the people and build teams. That's the work I do. So that's why I'm asking. So missing is equally important for me, because the things which are good, they always say we are good. Don't worry about that. You don't need to coach. So, we are already doing great job. You tell me where the, so yeah, this is very restorative, I know, but that's what my consulting role, right? I'm a consultant using coaching. So that's a different thing, right? So, I mean, we can tell all this, you can use this other thing to point, but then in the reality, I have done for almost 50 clients, business consulting. The shortest thing is that, you have to basically take that and put that person, and then because my deals are 90 days, right? 90 days, like 120 days, we have to turn around the business. It's not like a corporate where I'm taking a year to do something nice thing. So that's very important for me. So I don't know whether it will give you an input in case if somebody like me needs it. If you can make, I don't know, in your product, if there is a way where you can say significantly these are the things that are missing, and then it helps us in a quick way. Okay, okay, this is why there is a.
That's certainly an interesting concept, and I think what you're getting at is getting a team that is well-rounded, not individuals well-rounded, but the team is well-rounded. So if it is lacking one of the domains, then that's an area to perhaps include some people who are strong in those areas to then help and support that team.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you for that input on that. Just one or two other things that we've got within here, just as sort of a few other sort of fun dynamics we can do with a team. And that is, we have the team profiles. I'm just going to go back at the moment because I want to go and just select the people just in the demo area here for the moment. And then we're going to move on to the team profiles. And this is an area where you can just show the top 5 themes for each person. It's a very simple pie chart giving the colors for each of those domains. And it's a very, very quick, easy report to see from which domain somebody is coming from. And certainly when I'm leading a team workshop, this is the report I would have in front of me as to where, so that when people are talking in the workshop, that I can see exactly where they're coming from with this. So for example, you can see the differences between some of these people and their themes very, very quickly and very easily, and it's very visual. I know some coaches who like to print this out and then they cut out each of these sections and give them as little badges to each participant on there. So it's a nice little extra that they can give. And with this report, it's very, very simple. I just clicked on the insert names. It pulled in the first people from the team grid. But of course, if you want to change any of the names and things on here, you can then go and select somebody else if you want to, and it will just update accordingly with that. So that's a nice little visual report that you can use. And another report which we have is what we call the All 34 report. And what I'm going to do, I'm just literally just going to click on insert names, and that will just pull in the first 6 names in the team grids on here. And as you can see, we've got all 34 themes for these people. Let me just change my view very slightly. Just take that row out. Yeah. There we go. Actually, just a quick tip while I'm there at the moment. If you don't know this within Excel, if you do a Control F1 on the keyboard, it shows a ribbon on here, but that takes up a little bit of screen, especially if you're working on a small screen. You can just literally do a Control F1 again, and it takes off that ribbon, and then you've got much more space to show the content of the screen. So there's a little Excel tip for you with that. Getting back to here, what we can do is where we've got all the themes for everybody, it's quite a busy page this, but you can change the display and just take out the middle section so you can just see the top 10 and the bottom 5. Also, there's some little radio buttons just hiding in here. And if we were to select one of these, I'm just going to select this one at the end for I'm alone. And I'm going to click on Identify Top 5. And what this is doing, this is identifying this person's top 5 themes and where these themes appear for everybody else. So what we can immediately see is that the top 5 here, 4 of them are down at the bottom for this person, Honeyberry. So one question I would have is, how do these two people get along? Are they a fantastic collaborative partnership? Is that what they have? Or is that an area of conflict that they have between them because they're coming from very different perspectives? And we can also see within this example that where we've got adaptability at number 1 here, everybody else has got adaptability in their bottom 5. How does that play out in a team environment? Is this particular person always wanting to try something new or always wanting to change what's happening? Whereas everybody else is saying, let's just keep it steady, let's do what we originally planned. And it's those sort of things that this can highlight and this can reveal within a team. And it can really help to identify some of the issues and help you go through that as a coach. And of course, you can change any of these if you wanted to, so you can change these on here, or you can take them out. You can use this report in many different ways, but it's quite helpful sometimes to really see the mix of themes within a small group of people. There's one coach I know who actually takes this report and she does 2 things. One is blow it up really big and then put it on the wall so that everybody can see all the themes for everybody else in the room on that. And the other thing she does is that she takes this report, she chops it into strips and then mounts the different strips of all 34 themes onto a piece of card and gives that as a bookmark to each person who attends the workshop. So it's a nice little takeaway on there, so that it's a little gift that you can give somebody and you can immediately see all their 34 themes together. As a coach, what you could do is you could show all 34 themes of your client if you're about to go to a one-to-one coaching session with them, put next to it your 34 themes down the side, and then just see how they compare. What perspective are you coming from and what perspective are they coming from, and where perhaps do you need to moderate and think about the coaching conversation so it fits in with what they need. So lots and lots of different ways how you can use this seemingly simple report on here. I'm just going to pause for a moment just to hear if there are any questions or any thoughts about any of these 2 pages that we've just been looking at.
Nothing specific in the chat room other than people are saying that the radio button's really slick. I thought it said sick at first, but I maybe it said slick.
Okay.
If we wanted to have more than the 6, do we just need to keep getting rid of them and adding them again, like adding the new people if there's a bigger team?
Yes, essentially. It's physically down to the size of the page, and 6 is the maximum number we can fit on here. It's not possible to bunch them up anymore because we're just about to launch the German version of Cascade, and they've got some really long theme names, and so we need the width on here to be able to. Oh, that's nice.
It gave me you shared that idea in the newsletter, and I thought it was brilliant. It gave me a brilliant excuse to buy a laminator. But the other thing I did is I added my logo and thing on the back. So I've now printed 2 bits of paper to create those things.
Absolutely. I'm just going to stop my share of the screen, and just so hopefully your screen can be a little bit bigger so other people can see what you're doing.
So just added, just printed each one of those, and then on the back I've sort of put my logo and a little quote that I felt was appropriate for this particular client, and as giveaways in the workshops.
And that's always nice to have a little giveaway at the end. And so that's just something that people can take away with them. And if it's laminated like that, they can use it as a bookmark if people still read books, or they can put it on their desk and those sort of things on there. And in fact, I think one extension somebody else does to that is they give the manager a laminated bookmark for everybody in their team. So if they're about to have a conversation with them, they just pull out their bookmark of the person they're about to speak to, and they can put that against their own and then just see the two side by side with that. Okay, so we've covered quite a lot today at the moment. Are there any other general questions about team coaching and how you do it, how you use the different reports within the team, and anything that you want to share amongst our group today?
I'm not sure if you're coming on to it, Richard, but I think showing some of the stuff like the, the insight sheet and how you can change that, and things like the name tents, because even those form part of your team conversation. I love it when people walk into the room, a bit like Gallup when they've got the name tents on the table. People walk in and they can kind of see them all coloured, or the labels that you can produce as well. I think some of that's pretty cool. You might have shown it, and I might have been paying attention to chat, but I just wanted to double check on that one.
Okay, let's just go into that for the moment, just to cover a few extra things that if you are running a team session, which extra bits you might want to do and what sort of handouts would be quite helpful with that. Charlotte's just mentioned the personal insights, which if we just jump onto that, this again is the top 5 themes, or top 10 or top 15 for each person, and it's the information from the theme insight cards. So that's something you can show with this. So that's a good handout you can give out. And likewise, the bring and need report is another really good handout to be able to produce that on there. And from the menu, as I mentioned earlier, you can actually print these reports as one batch for everybody in the workshop. So it makes it very quick and very easy to produce these.
Did you show as well, Richard, on the personal insights, how you can change the, the different parameters along the bottom? So you can show it 5, 10, but you can also show the metaphors and barrier labels, or the comparisons.
Yes, there's a button at the top here, so you can, at the moment it shows the metaphors and barrier labels on here, but you can click on this button and it will show the theme comparisons. And what it does is that it shows down the bottom here, again, the same top 5 themes, but the comparison texts, which are on the theme insight cards. What I do need to say is that we released the French version of Cascade earlier this year. We've got the Spanish version, which we're going to be announcing today. So that's coming out later in one of our newsletters today. And then we've got the German version coming out soon. And because those languages have much longer words, we've had to take out the theme comparisons for those languages. But the English languages, we have the option for the theme comparisons. So you've got a little bit of different things you can play with on that.
I'll share with the group, Richard, afterwards in an email, but one of the activities I love doing in a team workshop is have people go through this, and normally it's the top 5 or the top 10, is I get them to go through and highlight the words that they feel describes themselves, the role they play, I am, I bring, I need, my motivators, demotivators. And they kind of create a bit of a I am elevator pitch, so a statement that they might, they've got to whittle it down. They might go, I'm picking 10 words to describe myself. They've got to narrow it down. And then they walk around the room sharing with each other their kind of elevator pitch. And then people go, oh, this is so great. I can put it on my LinkedIn profile. Oh, I can use this in my interview that I've got coming up. Or, oh, I can use this here. So, I use this in a lot of team workshops where, people sort of pick it out and create that elevator pitch type thing.
Yeah, and it's really good to be able to take one word from the descriptive words and then another word from a different theme from the role I play.
That's right.
So for example, you could say, I am a unique, and then down here, family member, or whatever you want to pick out on that. With that, and you can get some nice dynamics coming from this as well. And I like the idea of creating that statement or creating some sentences and phrases for people with that. Right, we did say that we'll jump on to the name tents, and I'm just going to go quickly onto that at the moment. And the name tents, I don't know if you can see my screen, but I've got a name tent here Let me just stop the share very briefly. And on here, this is my top 5 on a name sense. You can pop your own logo on there if you wanted to. And it's literally just a piece of paper, just slightly thicker paper than normal, but it's just a piece of paper which is just folded up. And it's just a nice, very quick, easy way of creating that name sense. It's in the domain colors for you, or you can have it in black. You've got choices with that. Let's just go back to here, and then you can see that. So you've got your logo. You can then literally just copy in and then just drag and drop anywhere. You can have this to show the top 5. You can have it to show the top 10. And you've got various other flexible options with this. And it's very easy to produce a set of name tents for everybody in the workshop. It's simply a matter of setting up the name tent, selecting here the whole team, having the people in the team grids for the people in your workshop, and then just clicking on the print button here, and that will just print off, in this situation, 19 name tents, 1 for each person. So very quick, very easy to create that information. And talking of workshops, if you ever produce lots of materials for your workshops, it's very nice if people walk into the workshop and they see on each desk their name, their top 5 themes, your logo, the name of the workshop, and perhaps a date and various other things like that. And I had a request a while back for somebody to say, hey, can we do this in Cascade? Well, with the Cascade here at the moment, it can't. However, because you're on this particular session, I'm going to show you something where you can actually include that. So if we go to the modules area, and you might want just to make a note of this, if you type in WBC, and it stands for Workbook Cover, I think let's just go in the chat there, thank you, Charlotte, and then click on Go. What this will do, this will add a Workbook Cover tab, which is down the bottom here, to the menu. Now, this is a little secret. We don't advertise anywhere. It's only on these sessions. So thank you very much for coming to this session. And this is a little gift that we can give you in return. So if we click on this, it's a very simple page. It gives the person's name. It gives their top 5 themes in the domain colors or in black if you would rather. And then you can personalize it with your name, your company details, your logo, your strapline, your workshop title, anything else you want to have with that. And then use that as a front cover for any materials that you supply to your clients. So there you are, that's a gift from me to you, and it's literally just a matter of going to the modules area, type in WBC, and it will pop that new page in there for you. So I did say there'd be something special towards the end of this, and thank you very much for staying on the call, so you can welcome to have that little Cascade secret. Are there any sort of questions or any other thoughts coming out of this, or anything else you want to share, or something that you've really loved which you weren't aware of previously, or anything like that that we can talk about at this point in time?
Richard, can I talk about Power of 2?
Yes, certainly. Yes, let me just jump back onto that one.
Right.
Yes, the Power of 2 report is again coming straight from the menu, and this is simply where you have 2 people, and you can select any 2 people who are in the team grids on here. It has 1 person's themes across the top and 1 person's themes down the side. And at the moment in the green sections, this is showing the theme descriptions, but you have other options now at the top. So you could perhaps say that the bring and need or descriptive words. And so there are different ways to actually describe those particular themes. Yeah, go on, Leo. How do you use this report?
Okay, sure. This is something I use with top leaders. So they were able to look at how they complement each other and how they can be challenging to each other. So this way they look at their teams and how it interacts with each other, and so that makes them clear on how they work with each other. This is great if you want them to do intimate conversations.
And it really helps to facilitate those intimate conversations, doesn't it?
Yeah, I use it with the business owner and their general manager, and to how they can work better together.
And it doesn't have to be in a work situation. It could be in a marriage situation as well. So you can use it in families as, in that sense. I know coaches who do that. And it's just any two people working together, or perhaps where you've got two people in conflict. And by doing this, it really reveals the perspective each person is coming from. They might be looking at the same thing, but from a different perspective. And this helps them to unpack that and see what it is that's different and give them a better understanding of the other person.
And so this is not for teams, but on one-on-one, I think there's huge richness in the advantage tab. I don't know whether you want to just showcase that a little bit, because there's so much stuff in there.
There's a lot in here. So just to sort of explain the page, the theme advantage, which is the advantage tab at the bottom, this is where you've got the top themes for an individual person. And again, you can select whoever you want to have in here. And you've got lots and lots of different worksheets and lots of different topics. And this particular one on productivity is looking at the 4 domains and how people can use their themes across the different domains and the different areas. And so they may not, in this example, they may not have any relationship building themes in their top 5, but how can they use their, the themes they do have for collaboration, and just getting them thinking a little bit more dynamically about that. And as I mentioned, we've got lots and lots of different worksheets on here. Charlotte, a few months ago, helped us put together one on managing change. And so that was a great area to have. I was talking to a coach just about a month ago, and we put together one on crisis management. And so this is talking all about people who are in lockdown or struggling with a particular situation. How can they use their themes for the different stages of going through a crisis situation and just helping them navigate through that? So a really valuable tool, but probably best to apply on a one-to-one situation, depending on that particular person and what their particular needs are with that. I don't know, Karen, if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, no, definitely on a one-to-one, but it just gives such, because you can really, depending on what their goals are, it can be so, it just can really help guide the conversation. I like the leadership one particularly, that's sort of talking about the 4 needs. So
yeah, so there's one on leadership which talks about the 4 needs of followers: trust, compassion, stability, and hope, and how each of that person's themes can be used to help create those pieces. And if you've got the, what's it called?
Expanding your strengths.
strength-based leadership.
Strengths, leadership, yeah.
That's it, strengths-based leadership. It's on my bookshelf somewhere. That goes through it in more detail, but this is where the client can really help to work it out for themselves and put down some really practical steps of what they can do.
I was thinking about the power of 2 being expanding your strengths. I love the theme advantage, or rather clients love the theme advantage, where if I'm working a lot with an organization, I'm encouraging them to buy their own version of Cascade. They love it from the point of view of, you know, the HR department or the head of whatever department. These are tools that they can just kind of print off and use themselves. I mean, great, yeah, they can pay me to keep coming in, but the more I can help them become strengths-based as opposed to just going in and doing strengths. So these are some of the tools that they can use themselves and go, oh yeah, you know, actually this particular team's, you know, going through some change, or this particular team's struggling with motivation or whatever. You know, I'm often sending emails with top tips that go, don't forget you could use this sheet. And they go, oh, what activities can I do? Well, you know, you can do this as well. So it's great from that point of view, guiding them to be self-sufficient.
Yeah, and I've just seen in the chat that on the right of each of the pages, there is just some hints and tips on how to use the pages and how to get a bit more out of them. And also on each of the pages, there's a green question mark. So if you click on that, that will take you to our website, take you directly to the page relevant to the one you're on, and give you a few more sort of hints and tips on how best to get the most out of it and things.
Okay. Alison's asked a good question. If somebody, you know, if she's got a client that's, you know, German speaking as well, like, does one have to buy the German version and the English version in order to be able to sort of, you know, do interlanguages?
Yes, so the way that works is that Cascade comes primarily with two languages. English American and English UK, so you can choose the flavor you want to have with that. And then in the settings area, there's an option, or first in the modules, if you want the German language, which will be available hopefully in the next 6 weeks or so, it's literally just a matter of typing the code in there just for the German language pack. So it's an add-on module, a little bit like with the bonus pack or the Go Large module. It's an add-on module for each of these different languages that you have. And then the way to choose the language is that you would then go into the settings area, and then you'll just say which language you want to have. And if we go on to Spanish, because that's just about to come out, so you want to apply that, it will then set up Cascade. And then when you go into the personal insights, you will notice that everything here is in Spanish. The theme names are in English. There is a choice, so you can go back to the Home tab. You can say you want the theme names in Spanish, in the local language, pop that in, and then we can go back into here, and you will see that the theme names are now in Spanish. So that's how you would change to any language, with French, with Spanish, and later with German. Just while we're here within the in the menu section and things, in the modules area, there is a download button. And if you've had Cascade, you've downloaded it within this calendar year, within 2020, you can just click on that, and it will automatically pull down the latest version of Cascade for you. So if you want to get the latest version, you can check to see what the latest version is with this link, and then just click on that, and it will then pull down the latest version. You'll pull it down, save it to your computer, and then in the theme table, just use the import themes button and find your previous copy of Cascade, and it will just suck all your clients across and put them into the new version. Okay, any more questions or any more thoughts? I really appreciate you staying.
A few questions for me. Richard, a few questions.
Yes, go on.
Okay, first, colors. I'm sure you already know that red's becoming green.
Yes.
Is that happening soon?
Yes, absolutely. So Gallup are changing the colors in their reports. So the strategic thinking will go from red to green, as you quite rightly said, Leo. The other colors are changing very, very slightly in tone. And so we've got all the numbers for the colors, and we will be updating Cascade, and there will be a release of Cascade with the new colors in August. So then it will reflect the Gallup colors. Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Question.
Second question. PDF export in Excel for Mac. It's still a little janky. Is there a simpler way available? I'm sure you probably got the question a lot from the Mac users.
Yes, so just to explain, in Windows, if you want to create the PDF, you can select any folder you like, and then it will save the PDFs to that particular folder. On a Mac environment, there have been a few arguments between Microsoft and Apple, and so the outcome from that is that the PDFs have to go in a folder which is in the depths of your computer in the library area, and that is the only place that it can go, and so it has to go there. What we do have is that we have some tips, so you can create a shortcut or an alias on your desktop, so you can quickly get to that folder, but it does still have to save it to that particular folder.
Right. Okay. So I do use that, except that I have to explain it to some techie people, so it's a little trickier. All right. Third thing, you mentioned there's a community. Is there an active community for Cascade?
Absolutely. So what we have a number of different things, and Charlotte will share this later on a handout, which will come out after this event. And we have a newsletter that we send out roughly about once a month. So we've got a new one coming out later today, or maybe tomorrow, depending on your time zone for that. And we've also got our Facebook page as well. So all those links to those are on the handout, which is coming out later. If you don't get our newsletter, if you don't get the newsletter at the moment, you're welcome to sign up. You don't have to have Cascade to want to get the newsletter. Anybody's welcome to get that and receive that. And what we do there is that we share any hints and tips about Cascade, how to get the best of Cascade. And for example, we were talking earlier about the bookmarks and so on. That was an idea somebody had that we shared on one of our previous newsletters.
Thank you.
Rick, I'm very happy to share how I've used the Bring Need report quite successfully. Is that when I'm coaching somebody around their themes, and that one of the exercises that I ask them to do is to share their Bring a Need report, whether it's the top 5, top 10, whatever they're comfortable with a minimum of 6 different people. And that could be colleagues, it could be family, it could be friends, but minimum of 6 people. And then I ask them to read through the Bring Need, to make some notes, to think about stories where these themes have shown up for that person. And then I ask them to meet and have, you know, this person's going to give them feedback. When they give them feedback the first time, they're not allowed to say anything. They just need to listen to that person. Because often we want to justify things, we want to explain things, and we're not really listening to the valuable information that that particular person has taken the time to go away, think about it, and give you this pot of gold, actually. And so I say to them, the first time you meet with them, just take notes and write some questions down, write some examples down. I then want them to go away, reflect on what this person has said, and make their own notes, and then meet again for the second time, and then have a discussion. And I find that what happens is that they just go a lot deeper. They don't just do top line, they really dig a lot deeper into it, and they get a lot of value out of it. And I think when new people come into the organization and they need to kind of network and mingle, and that it's something that I know that is courageous. They need to to 6 people that they don't really know, and that is not in their department or their area. And it could be the CEO, it could be, you know, any of the executives if they're not on the executive board. And it's a lovely way to network, and for them to get to know others in the organization. And so again, cross-functional collaboration, it's wonderful for. I've had great feedback of them really wanting to get to know somebody else, but didn't have the courage because they didn't want to know the small talk that they could kind of do with that person, and just have coffee and say, well, I've got to get to know you. It's such a lovely tool. And the Bring Need is my favorite because it's really talking about the value that person brings, and then the need, so the other person understands why, you know, they need certain things. And I think that's, you know, it's also just a wonderful way to get to know other people in the organization, and for them to know you, but also family members, you know, and friends. And I think it's rich, it's deep, and it's just a lovely catalyst for really, really interesting conversations. And I've had really good feedback about it. And the first one they're really nervous. And then they realize the value of it, and they want to do more and more. So often they'll do lots more than 6 there, and they continue to do it. So I just wanted to share that with, you know, how I've used the Bring Need report.
That's lovely, Meryl. Good to see you here, and such a wonderful example of using that Bring a Need report as a real introduction to discovering new people and things. And so a wonderful way of putting that together. In that. What I've also found, some other coaches use that Bring a Need report, is when you're running a team workshop, there are often 1 or 2 people who've taken the assessment but not bothered to look at any of the Gallup reports, and they've just got their theme names. And you just want something really quick and short that they can read, just to get a quick perspective of what each theme is. And by using the Bring a Need report, that could be a quick and easy way just to get them up to speed, to bring them into the workshop effectively and give them that understanding.
I find the Bring a Need report really useful to use in the Best of Us activity, but I don't give it to them initially. So I get them to think about it from their own perspective first. This is what I bring, this is what I need, this is what you can count on me for, etc. And then I, you know, then if they're going, oh God, you know, they've got a box empty and they really can't think, then I share that Bring a Need report for them. And then they go, oh yeah, gosh, yeah, I do, you know, need more social interaction during my woo. So yeah, I don't give it initially, but it's like an after thing. That's really helpful.
Yeah, Mm. Okay, any more questions or anything else on that? And just while you're thinking about any final questions and things, if you're not part of the Cascade community and you'd love to be part of it, or you are part of it and you want to expand and get any other of the tools that we have and things, we do have a discount code going at the moment. And this is a 10% discount off everything which we have to offer. And it's using the code of CBMU. I don't know if Charlotte, you can just pop that into the chat, that'd be helpful. CBMU, and that will give you an immediate 10% discount off anything. So again, thank you very much for being here, and feel free to use that.
Some other useful links in chat, but I will follow up with an email with all Richard's, tips and hints and contacts and where to order and what the front cover code is when you go, oh my God, I lost the piece of paper that I wrote that down on. So expect an email.
Thank you, Charlotte.
No problem, Richard. Sorry, just double checking. Has anybody got any other questions? Anything that they go, oh, I wish Richard had covered this, or I really wanted to see that? No? Cool. Sorry, Richard.
I was just going to say thank you, Charlotte, so much for arranging and facilitating the session. And thank you, everyone, to each and one of you for coming and sparing some time here. I hope that you've been able to learn something that can really help your coaching business and really help you move forward and really help strengthen the coaching environments. And it's so nice to see one or two familiar faces. I'm really going to miss the summit where we're not meeting in person, but it's just nice to have these sort of events where we can do the best we can. So thank you, Charlotte, for putting this together.
No problem. Thank you, Richard, for coming on and sharing it. As I say, it's a great tool, and it's sometimes the best kept secret, even though there's lots of things pop up on the Facebook page around it. So I know a lot of coaches that use it find it invaluable, and it's so complementary to everything you get through Gallup. So that's great. The thing I would say is, if there are other sessions that you go, oh, I'd love to learn more about XYZ, but we haven't done it yet, let us know. You might have seen I've been arranging some different kind of flash mobs to put into practice, some different activities as we move to more a virtual environment. We've done some Zoom training about how to navigate breakout rooms. Leo kindly did some sessions on using Jamboard, that some of us have never come across Jamboard before. We've got Kenbar Junior, if anybody works in the kind of education space, we've got Kenbar Junior coming up soon. I just need to kind of publish that one around working in the higher education space. So yeah, just let us know if there's other sessions that you'd love us to arrange. I'm happy to use my Activator Woo Arranger to arrange them, but by the same token, I don't need to be the one that's arranging them. Feel free to help coordinate them. We did create a meetup group as well, that we're going to kind of share some of these community-led learning series as well, to complement everything that Gallup already does with the Theme Thursdays and Call to Coaches. How might we learn? So tell us what you need, but if there's something that you go, oh, I really love to run a session for coaches on XYZ, then happy to sort of help coordinate that as well. But otherwise, I will thank you all for joining. If nobody's got any other kind of parting comments, well, thank you for joining, and I'll go and have my dinner, and other people can go and have their dinner or go to bed or get up or whatever time zone you're in. Beautiful. Well, have a great day, and we hopefully catch up with some of you soon, and we'll see some of you at the summit next week in a virtual capacity.
Thanks, everybody. Look forward to seeing you
next
week.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Thanks, Richard.
Thank you.
Bye, Danny.
Bye, Danny.
Bye, Charlotte.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Danny.
Thanks, Charlotte.
Thank you.
Hello.
Okay, Richard, I sent you something via chat. I don't know if you've seen it.
Okay. No, I haven't seen it.
So my question was, we have a very active Strengths Philippines community. And I was wondering if you're willing to do this. I would imagine, yeah, about 40 people would join. I mean, it's promotion for you. I mean, it's just good if somebody walks into it. Your thoughts?
I would love to get involved with something like this. My woo is
Sure.
right down the bottom. Anybody like yourself or Charlotte who are happy to facilitate a session, I'm
Sure.
very happy to come along. So
Okay.
yes, let's get in touch separately via
Yeah,
email
yeah,
or something
sure.
like that. And yeah, very
All
happy
right.
to help out on that. And we can try and find a time zone that works for you and fits
Yes.
in with us as well. So yeah,
Yeah.
we can do that. Yeah, thank you, Leah.
Thank you as well, Richard. Okay, Charlotte, nice seeing you again. I think
Yeah,
God, we saw
good
each
to
other
see
like
you.
what, 4 times now. So
Yeah.
see you in the next session. Bye.
Thanks, Leah.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll leave you guys
Bye.
to it too.
Oh,
Okay.
no. All good, Karen. All good. Thanks for joining and sharing your tips. I love your little.
I was
Yeah, that's
laughing.
good.
I was laughing because it appeared that I'm really well organized, and I'm not normally. It's just the fact that it's all like around me in the office. I was like, oh yeah, I've got this, and I've got. It's like I suddenly, as I was doing, I was thinking, it makes it look like I'm, I've really prepared and I've got it all sort of. And I was like, it's an illusion.
Thank you so